Back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stoltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler, and this is Have Roots, Will Travel. Now, over the last several years, I've been focusing my attention on les filles du roi and les filles mariées, which are fundamental to the growth of New France. And we're almost halfway through the 700 filles du roi and almost 300 filles mariées. And the stories are so compelling. I'm so glad and honored to be able to tell them. Before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe, like, and notify. That really, really helps. And the next three are ways that you can help the channel itself grow. We have Patreon, and we have Coffee, and we have PayPal that is found on my website. Lots of different ways. But whatever you do, please make sure to subscribe and like, because that is very fundamental to my channel's growth. So thank you ever so much to all of you who have helped me thus far. I really appreciate each and every one of you, really. And I love when I hear from you and you tell me what it means. And I even like when you tell me, you missed this or you missed that. I like that. And usually I will put a note or something like that. So with that being said, let's get started and get to know our fille du roi of this episode. Today we're going to look at episode 285, Marie Lasnon. And she comes to us as a viewer request. Thank you so much to the viewer who has requested her a couple of times. I really appreciate your enthusiasm, and I'm so happy that we've been able to bring her to you. She was born in 1647 in Rouen, France. Her parents were Gilles Lasnon and Colette Lesny. She comes to us from the Normandy region, and inside the Normandy region, we have the département or county of Seine-Maritime, and she is from the capital of Normandy, Rouen. It has such an amazing historical story, this city, and it was at one time the largest city in medieval Europe. It played a prominent role in both English and French histories from the 11th to the 15th century. Joan of Arc herself was tried and burned alive here in 1431. Rouen is a city of both cultural and educational significance. And it was from this area that the Statue of Liberty sailed in June of 1885. Just an amazing kind of connection. Now, the church that she was baptized in would have been the Saint Vivien Church, which is the only church in Normandy to be devoted to Saint Vivien, whose relics were brought to Rouen in 1459. The church was built in 1358 and was enlarged in the mid-15th century. I mean, these churches are just amazing that they have withstood centuries, essentially. So upon her father's passing, she embarks as a fille du roi, and she embarks on the Saint-Louis de Dieppe for Quebec, and she arrives here on September 25th, 1667, and she carries with her a dowry valued at 300 pounds. The groom that she selected and who selected her, his name Pierre Ferry, and he was born in 1641 in Saint-Pierre-le-Pont, France. His parents were Pierre Ferry and Marguerite Jacquet. I also want to say that Saint-Pierre-le-Pont also goes as Pont Saint-Pierre. So that's one of those things where it took me a while to actually connect the dots, if you will, but that's where he's from. He's from the region as well, of Normandy region, but he is from the département of Eure. The church that he would have been baptized in is Saint Nicolas, and you can see it on the bottom kind of middle. It's built in the 12th century, and this castle, Château de Pont Saint-Pierre, built in the 15th century. Look at the moat around there. I mean, just can you believe that these things still exist after these hundreds and hundreds of years? Just amazing. So Pierre would come to New France. He is listed on the 1666 census as a matelot, which is a sailor. And presumably he would have done a 3 to 5 year contract and would have decided to stay. and hopefully find a wife. So they were married November 24th, 1667, at Quebec City. So they would settle at Neuville, which is a village on the north shore of the St. Lawrence River, just west of Quebec City. I was there and I stayed there a couple of nights with our RV last year. It was tremendous. Just an amazingly beautiful. It's as if time has stood still in these places. It was founded in 1684 and it remains exactly as it as you can imagine the way it looked. And that picture really doesn't even do it justice of how beautiful it is. In 1653, the area was granted as a seigneurie by Jean de Lezot to Jean Bourdon de Saint-Jean for his son, Jean-François Bourdon de Domburg, who was an engineer and an attorney general, all kinds of good things. But then, so at certain points in Neuville's history, it was called Domburg. So it's important for you to know that Neuville and Domburg are the same because in 1680 the Domburg seigneurie was acquired by Nicolas Dupont de Neuville. Thereafter the seigneurie was known as Neuville. And by 1679 it got its own parish. The Saint François de Sales was formed and it became a civil parish in 1684. The place was also, that church was also known as Pointe aux Trembles, in reference to the point on which the church was built, which once was covered with aspen and birch. And so, just in case you see Pointe aux Trembles, there is a Pointe aux Trembles in Montreal. And there's a Pointe aux Trembles that used to be referred to in Neuville, the church, as Pointe aux Trembles. So you need to pay particular attention when you're doing research. 10 children. Geneviève would marry Jean Chenier and would have 2 children, both of whom made it to adulthood. We have Pierre Joseph, who married Marie Boutin and would have 1 child who made it to adulthood. Benoit married Marie-Madeleine Ducheron and would have 5 children, 4 of whom made it to adulthood. Marianne would marry René Lancelot and would have 3 children, all of whom made it to adulthood. She then would marry Jean de Rome, with whom she had 3 children, 2 of whom made it to adulthood. Marie-Françoise would marry Pierre Courcy, but would not have any children before her early death at 28. Marguerite would marry Simon Drouillard and have 1 child who made it to adulthood. Angélique would marry Jean Barret but did not have any children. Nicolas would pass away at 2 years of age. Jean-François we have no information on, and Jean would pass away in infancy. Now in the 1601 census we find Pierre and Marie and their daughter Geneviève, son Pierre, son Benoit, daughter Marianne, daughter Françoise, and finally their little girl Marguerite, who is now 1 year of age. They own 6 bêtes à cornes, about 6 goats or any horned animal, and 25 arpents volants. That is about 22 to 23 acres of land. Amazing. Passed away sometime between 1694 and 1695. At that time, he and Marie would have been married 26 years. 1701, Marie would remarry at age 54 to Pierre Ledoux de la Treille. He unfortunately would pass away a mere 5 years later, leaving Marie a widow again. She would go on to live until the age of 80, dying in 1727. Just a remarkable achievement, by the way, to live to 80 in any time period, but to live in the 1700s, really good. And by 1729, she would leave us 71 descendants, of which my viewer is one. I was particularly moved by Marie and Pierre. They were a simple couple, a couple who endured and had 10 children together. She carried on after his death and was able to make it to 80. It boggles my mind. She left us 71 descendants, of which my viewer is one. And we are so grateful that she had the courage to come and she had the stamina and the determination to make her way through to the ripe old age of 80 and to be able to truly be a testament to the strength of these filles du roi. They were among the strongest and toughest women that we have ever seen. So we are grateful to for their contribution, and we bless their memory and we honor their sacrifice. Thank you, Marie. And with that, I also want to say thank you to my patrons, supporters, and subscribers. You are all so very special to me as well. You are the wind beneath my wings. Thank you so much. And until I see you on the next episode, I will say au revoir.